from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Welcome, race fans, to the Hammer Down Racing Report for the 16th of January. Yeah, I'm looking 16th. Right at it, and I couldn't read it for some reason. Show number 115. And I have a feeling I'm just going to phone this one in tonight, so I do apologize ahead of time. Didn't even put anything together for the show until like an hour ago.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty sad, Scott.
I've been so busy. It was I'd have 100 emails at the beginning of the day, and I would start going through them and getting them, and then at the beginning of the day, I'd have 100 emails. By the end of the day, I'd have 150, even though I've answered like 300 of them. It's like I'm sinking.
I mark those as spam and dump them.
Yeah. I wish I could do that, but yeah. Welcome, to the Hammer Down Racing Report, live from the Ron Miller Race Cars Studio. Coming at you live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter and Periscope. Make sure to like us on Facebook. We're about almost up to 2,000.
That's pretty cool.
On Facebook, so that's, pretty cool. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform on demand, including iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Google. Tonight on the show, we will be talking with the owner of the Great Lakes Super Sprint Series, Barry Marlow, and he's got a couple other series under the GLSS family name as well. So we'll be talking to him a little bit. Got some Chili Bowl
Yay!
Action to talk about, a bunch of news.
Live on MAV TV on Saturday.
Is it on MAV?
Yes.
Oh, cool. And actually, before we get to anything, though, last week we had Charlie Crawlin because you were off doing your own little thing.
Yeah.
And we were talking.
And I had a great time doing my own thing.
We talked mostly ARCA stuff, but there was news that came out about the Droop Rule being instituted in the world of outlaw.
UMP at Dirt Car.
Yeah. And I kind of wanted to get your take on that. What's your opinion on
It's
on
a
that
rule
group?
that's been around for a while, Scott.
Well, that one series
Ray Cook down south. He's a longtime racer, and he really takes care of the guys that run in his series. And I believe it was 3 years ago that he instituted the Droop Rule. And what Dirt Car has instituted is a copy of his rule. And his thought was that by keeping the cars a little more level.
Explain what it is
okay.
For people that aren't.
Right now, the teams are doing everything they can to hike the rear end up an awful lot.
On dirt late models.
On dirt late models, which gets the spoiler much more up in the air and creates more downforce. So the more downforce you get on the back of the car, the better the tires hook up, the more horsepower you can use. So the guys with 900 horsepower can use it. And Ray Cook's thought 3 years ago was that if we keep the cars down a little bit, maybe we can take some of the motor factor out and have better racing. And it was a good idea. My only concern with the Droop Rule is that it's going to be hard for the weekly tracks to enforce.
Now the Droop Rule is like a chain or something.
Yeah, it's a chain that limits. It's a chain that limits how much
the travel,
how far the left rear of the car can hike up in the air. And dirt fans know that the cars are really jacked up, especially on the left rear. So, they're trying to limit that, and they know what the car should be static in the pits. And then they're allowed about a 12-inch rise from that amount.
And from what I saw, they measure from the ground or something.
Right.
A lot of the complaints were, where are they going to find level ground to be checking these cars at these local tracks?
Well, and
unless there's a cement pad or something.
Right. And the rule is if your car is a 16th to, I think it's an inch high, you lose 3 positions.
Oh, I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, and if it's from an
like
inch and a 16th to an inch and 15/16, just under 2 inches, you lose 5 positions. And if it hikes up with their test more than 2 inches, you're moved to last place.
Huh.
In whatever race. If it's qualifying, you're moved back. If it's a heat race, you're moved back. If it's the feature, you're moved back. So there's some fairly stiff penalties involved.
Now, you said this is also, World of Outlaw dirt car. Is this going to translate to UMP sanctioned tracks, local tracks?
Local tracks,
well?
Absolutely.
So this will be in effect at like Oakshade,
right,
Attica.
Right. But again, who's
going to check it?
Where's there a level spot?
Now, do you have your chain so you're not?
Oh, I've been group limited for years. Take that as you will.
Group limited. I don't want to know about what's going on there.
Anyway, yes, it pertains to all UMP and World of Outlaw. Any World Racing Group late model falls under that rule.
So do you support that? Do you think this is a good rule, or are you against it? Because I know you've been clamoring for.
Yes, I do, Scott. Okay. If it's checked.
I gotcha. It needs to be enforced.
Correct. The worst rule you can have is one that you don't enforce. And
it needs to be enforced
uniformly.
Thank you. Across the board at all the tracks.
Absolutely.
Okay. I just wanted your take on that. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you. Make sure to give Ron Miller Race Cars a call, 734-856-7223. He says he's real busy, but he will take your call. Probably not right now, but eventually.
Oh, yeah, tomorrow morning.
Yeah. It's got race cars, parts. Do you have any race cars actually for sale right now?
Yeah, there's a Sportsman car there for sale.
Okay. Safety equipment service, pretty much everything a racer needs. Still have gift cards, still doing that too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a Valentine's Day gift for that racer in your
life. Or a Martin
life.
Luther King Day. Everybody, the banks are closed, so we could celebrate Martin Luther King Day with gift certificates.
Sure. Why not celebrate Sunday? Because it's a Sunday.
That's a possibility.
Okay. All right. 734-856-7223.
That's 856-RACE.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I should probably write that down sometime. I might actually.
I remember it.
Maybe on the 116th show.
I doubt it.
Let's talk some Chili Bowl action, and we'll give Barry Marlow.
Barry Marlow.
Yeah. Like I said,
Dave Kemmer.
I haven't been sleeping much. Barry Marlow here in a little bit. We'll give him a call, probably about 6 or 7 minutes. Chili Bowl action. Monday. That's when that bad boy kicked off there. There were a lot of races in the Tulsa shootout, too.
Oh, man.
That was incredible. 17-year-old Cannon McIntosh from Bixby, Oklahoma, won his heat, his qualifier, and led all but 6 laps to lock his midget into Saturday's A main. Anton Hernandez was racing Monday and did not fare as well. He flipped, had some throttle issues, and he's going to be starting deep in the last chance races on Saturday. Remember how we were talking to him there, like the F or something?
Yeah.
The double D thing.
Yeah.
He probably would like that. I don't know. Just Kyle Larson. He was the man Tuesday. He led all 30 laps to earn his starting spot in Saturday's A main.
He's good wherever he goes, Scott. And he's exciting to watch.
Chris Andrews, Attica Fremont sprint racer, he finished 6th in his B main on Tuesday. Matt Linder flipped in his heat and ended up 14th in his B main. Christopher Bell, also Tuesday night, was the winner of the Invitational Race of Champions. Last night, your guy with the hair, little guy.
Yeah.
Rico Abreu, he was the winner. He passed Brad Sweet to get the win. Sweet ended up actually flipping after a contact from Blake Hahn while racing for second.
Blake Hahn's been a big deal in the in Tony Stewart's series this year.
And one other note from the Chili Bowl, which continues tonight through Saturday, was Michael Facinto. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. He's withdrawn from the Chili Bowl Nationals after he finished 3rd in his preliminary feature because his sponsor told him, basically forced him, made the decision for him.
Really?
He made some derogatory comment during his post-race interview, I guess. I was trying to find out what that was, but I was pressed for time, and I don't know what the comment was.
All I know Scott, was dig deeper, man.
Derogatory comment
about the car, the owner.
I did. That was it. It was very vague. but it was something his sponsor apparently was not happy with. So
Sponsor or car owner?
I think it was both.
Okay.
So that happened. And that's all I got for the Chili Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
And again, Saturday's events live on MAV TV.
What time do they start with the...
Oh, man.
Is it just the main events that's on MAV TV, or are they doing all those?
You know, I really haven't looked into this year. Last year, there were a lot of main events.
Dean says, Dean Henry, I'm just deeming people, official Hammer Down Racing Report correspondents. Yeah. Official Hammer Down Racing Report. Congratulations, Dean, on that promotion. He's reporting that Michael used the N-word.
Really?
In his interview. Yeah.
Ooh,
so
okay.
I don't know why he would do that.
Well, that could be cause to lose your ride.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I see Alan Blake from Down Under.
Hi, Mr. Blake.
Has joined us. Let's skip ahead to some news for that. Dave Kimmer says it's 8:30, MAV TV.
Okay.
It was very disgusting and disturbing, according to our other official Hammer Down Racing Report correspondent, Matt Swander.
Oh, okay.
Coming up on Saturday this weekend, you know what's going on this weekend?
Race in Albany in Australia.
The late model Australian Late Model Championship, pitting the Americans against the Aussies. It converges Saturday on world famous Perth Motorplex for the finale of the biggest dirt late model event in the country. I think
that was last weekend.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, apparently I read old news, see?
Yeah.
I thought I was phoning it in. Is that over with then?
Yes.
Oh, who won that then? Apparently,
Alan Blake.
Make sure to tune in to the Hammer Down Racer Report for the latest news. Who won that? Oh, Dean heard the interview.
Oh, doggone it, Scott. He raced this year.
Was it American or Australian?
Yeah, no, he was top three. I'm sorry. I think second place may have been
Vosbergen?
No.
Blake?
No, I don't remember.
I remembered.
He was here with the 31 car this year.
Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Thank you. Some help you.
I see the car though. It looks cool in my head. Yeah. I'm sure.
Come on, Alan, type it in quick.
He's down in Australia. It takes a while for our signal to get down there.
It doesn't.
And for him to come back.
It's quick.
So that's all over with, really? I'm kind of disappointed now.
Yeah. No, the USA Australia tour is moving.
Isn't it? It's
Kyle Blight.
Yeah, not Blute. Roddy put Blute. Kyle Blight. That's right.
Yep.
Kai Blight. Yep. That's it.
He spanked him all weekend. He was really, really fast.
Do they have the droop roll down there?
They will be implementing it, but their rules are basically a year behind ours, Scott. So
okay.
So
next year.
Yeah.
So next winter for
2021 season, they'll.
All right, let's bust out a couple other things real quick here before we give Barry a call.
All right.
There was some testing going on down at Daytona this past weekend. The ARCA Series was down there, and Charlie reported that first-timer Dominique Van Wieringen? Sure.
Okay.
Female driver. She posted the fastest time on the final day of testing with a time of 49.615 seconds, which is 181.397 miles per hour. A name I am familiar with, World of Outlaw star David Gravel, was second quick.
Really?
Yeah, with a time of 49.659, which is pretty damn close to Dominique's time. 181.236 miles per hour. So, sprint car guy getting it done down there with fenders and a roof.
And probably not afraid of getting it sideways a little bit.
No, I didn't realize he was going to be running.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah.
I'll have to watch the ARCA Daytona race.
Oh, absolutely.
Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions announced on Monday a series point fund of, have you heard this?
I haven't.
Guess how much? Series point fund. Shot in the dark.
$80,000.
Close, but not quite. $258,000 point fund for 2020. The top 12 in points will see an increase in point fund money. The champion will receive $65,000, up from $58,000.
Wow.
So, yeah, and it goes back on down through the field there.
What do you think, hon? Let's buy a sprint car.
Am I going to race it or you?
No, you're not going to race it.
National Sprint Car Hall of Fame announced the 31st induction class on Tuesday at the Chili Bowl. Headlining the class was the late Greg Hodnett, four-time Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit Champions Tim Schaefer, and 51-time World of Outlaw winner Jeff Swindell.
That's pretty amazing.
Have you been nominated for the Late Model Hall of Fame?
Not to the Hall of Fame, no.
Well, what the hell?
Maybe in February.
Okay. Is that when that happens?
We can go see it.
All right. Got some other news we'll get to a little bit later. Let's give Barry Marlow a call.
Very good.
I'm going to call him Barry Manilow, I think. It's a rough.
That's because you're a tunes kind of guy.
No, I don't think that's it, but we'll go with that.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
Did you dial 9 first, Scott?
Directory and call again, or
I don't know what the hell I dialed. We'll try that again.
Now double.
9, 1.
There you go.
Not a second one, because that would be bad. Let's see if how well the dialing fingers work today.
Hello?
Hi, is this Barry?
Yes, it is.
Barry,
Scott, you did it again.
it's Scott Hammer and Ron Miller from Hammer Down Racing Report. How's it going?
Good.
Good. First off, I want to apologize because I'm having a crappy show, so I apologize about that. But we thank you for
And calling me Dave.
And calling you Dave and Barry Manilow and whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm used to Barry Manilow. I've been called that in 7th grade.
Well, with the last name like Hammer, I'm used to all kinds of things. Can't hurt him. Here comes Hammer. Can't touch this. Anyways, you are the owner. Is this your official title of the Great Lakes Super Sprints?
Yeah. I guess. I mean, that and Gopher.
Okay.
Owner Gopher.
You know, the guys at the top really don't get the attention that they should. You know.
Sometimes it's too much.
Yeah.
Now this actually you have 3 series now, but the original Great Lakes Super Sprints, you formed that back in 2016.
Yes, that was our first full season.
Okay.
Correct.
With all the series around, tell us why you would decide to do something like that.
I was going to say, tell us about the origins, because I've seen a little bit of the story there. But how did this come together back before 2016?
Okay, well, back, Sprints on Dirt, which has been around 40 years, they originally started out as a 410 when they first started, and they migrated to a 360, an ASCS-friendly 360 class. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I knew it. I moved to Michigan 30 years ago, and I've always known it as a 360 class. And I would help sponsor, and I put on some sod races. And then in August of 2015, there was a decision made to make the class unlimited. They went to 2-spec tires to kind of control the power getting to the ground.
Sure.
And in concept, it was a good idea. But in theory, I mean, when in actuality, the 410's power still won. And I hated to see all the 360s leave because they were going to become boat anchors in Michigan. So,
Barry,
wasn't done.
Barry, was it a true open motor rule, or was it a 410 rule that they went with?
Well, it was basically unlimited. You could bring anything you wanted to bring, but everybody had to run those same 2 tires, those 2 rear tires.
So you could run a 430 if you wanted to, or...
Yeah. I mean, I guess that was the concept. If you had a 454, whatever you had in the garage, you could bring.
Right.
It really didn't matter what the engine was, and the tire was the equalizer, and it did equalize a lot. But we already know on a dry slick track, in the right conditions and a 360 starts up close enough to the front, they're going to do good against a 410 anyway, just like 305s do good against 360s in the right conditions.
Absolutely.
So I didn't really think you needed the tires to do that. But when that move got made, I saw people migrating to 410s, and the 360s were done. And there was a lot of 360s in the northwest Ohio, northern Indiana, and Michigan. I'd say the lion's share of the engines in Michigan were 360s. And I just saw the value going in the toilet, and I still thought there was a good place to have a spec 360 ASCS type series, and it's worked out well.
Now,
so that's how it started.
Did a lot of the Sprint on Dirt drivers at that time did they come to you and saying, you know, we want to keep running 360?
Yeah, I was the fuel guy. I mean, I was I like racing, but I was the fuel guy, so I was going to all the tracks. I was working with a lot of groups, and I kind of got hooked on sprint cars. And I'm in the guys' shops, and I see the investment they have in these 360s, and I'm just having a hard time thinking, my goodness, they just went from a $30,000 engine and it's worth $10,000 now, just making a change, because nobody wants a 360. Everybody's going to want to go to 410s. So yes, that's how it started. A lot of guys said, you ought to just start your own series. Yeah, sure. I ought to have two heads too.
Sure.
And the more I thought about it, it came to fruition, and that's kind of how it came about. I mean, it has kind of come true. I mean, there was 360s that had won some sod races over the past 4 years, but the lion's share of the top cars were 410s. If somebody wanted to compete, they got a 410. But yes, we had a lot of guys going back and forth, and that kind of slowed down the last 2 years. People pretty much committed to run one series or the other. You didn't have a lot of people going back between, because once people saw it was really a 410 series on smaller tires, it kind of dwindled a little bit.
Barry, you talked about that ASCS spec engine. Isn't that basically a 360 cubic inch engine with a special intake gasket that restricts the airflow?
Yeah, well, there are ASCS heads. The gasket, yes, and there's an ASCS gasket. I mean, the basic rules when we started, you had to run ASCS heads. And if you didn't run their heads, if you ran anybody else's heads, say All Pro, you needed to run an ASCS gasket to restrict the airflow, correct?
Right.
But there are ASCS heads, and that's what a lot of the guys run. Now, about 5 years ago, and I'm just guessing, it might have been 4 years ago, ASCS changed their heads, and they're cut out a lot more. And, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of looking at that. I'm not sure how much I'm going to enforce a gasket anymore, because those new heads, it's not fair to somebody running All Pro heads, and they have to put a gasket on when going head-to-head. No pun intended.
I see what you did there.
Cute. Real cute, Barry.
I'm quick on my feet. The ASCS heads are already running 2 to 3 horsepower more, or very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, with the change in the heads a few years ago, I'm not real sure how important that gasket is anymore, quite frankly. But that's our rules, and until the group decides to change them, that's what it is. But yes, it restricts the airflow.
So now I guess your feeling on open wheel cars I guess they're kind of like potato chips. You can't have just one series.
No, that's just it. I didn't know if I wanted sour cream and cheddar or sour cream and onion, and I couldn't make up my mind, so I wanted them all. So, but I love sprint cars. There's a lot of people that know me from this, they only know me from the 360s, GLSS, and they thought I had a love affair with 360s. And it's not 360s, it's just all sprints. I started out sponsoring, asphalt sprints. So it doesn't really matter to me, those open wheel sprints. I love them all. I think the wing sprints are a lot more exciting on dirt, no doubt about it. But I love non-wing.
Yeah, I was going to say, talk to us about the MTS series.
Michigan Traditional Sprints has been around for about 12 years. Joe Irwin started that, and he was the custodian of it up until this fall. And they've raced a lot of places. I know in the past they've come down to Fremont, they've come down to Ohio, they've come down to Northern Ohio over the years, and they're basically a 410 group. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have 360s that run with them as well, but that's a 410. That's going to be comparable as far as car goes to Boss or USAC. It's a non-wing 410 car. A lot of engines up here, though, in Michigan are probably cast iron blocks. Not a lot of the guys don't have aluminum engines up here yet. Well, I'm not saying you can go to it, but you go down to USAC race and they're aluminum. You go further south, and but they're a non-wing. I don't know what else to really say. They're a full-size non-wing sprint car,
and they're fun to watch.
They are fun to watch. They're a completely different style. When those guys get on it, it's fun to see. It really is, and it's exciting.
And you'll see wheel stands.
Yeah. There's people that only watch non-wing. They don't even want to see a wing on it. And then you have the same thing with the other side. The guys with non-wing, with wings, those non-wing are boring. Well, they're not boring. I don't know how any open wheel car racing with 20 other cars is boring, because at any moment anything can happen.
And usually does.
And it usually does. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Right.
And now from that aspect, probably some of the worst flips I've ever seen are definitely in a non-wing car. There's just nothing to stop it.
They don't have that big wing to cushion him.
Yeah, that's right. Very seldom, if they hit the ground or hit something, will you see a winged sprint car go over much more than 1.5 times. Because once that wing touches something, probably one of the only double flips I've seen, he did a double flip because it was all in the air. The wing never touched. But once that wing crumples, that absorbs a lot of momentum.
Again,
and the car's usually done.
We're talking to Barry Marlow, owner of Great Lakes Super Sprints, and the family grew with the traditional sprints, and you also have the Great Lakes Lightning Sprints, the 1,000cc.
Correct. Yes.
Fill us in on those.
Those are exciting cars. Like I said, all the open wheels are exciting, but they all have their niche. Now, me as a promoter and marketing person, the Lightning Sprints kind of fills out the cupboard for me. There isn't really any track that I can't go to, that can't afford the Lightning Sprints. They're affordable class. It's a great feeder class for somebody coming out of pro stocks or modifieds or late models. Any of these guys running any of these other classes that ever wanted to drive a sprint car, the Lightning Sprints is such a great class to jump into. For $7,500 to $9,000, they can get a competitive car, go out to the track, and race it, and find out if they like it, instead of spending $30,000 or $40,000 or $50,000 to find out if they like it. And they're fast. These cars. We raced up at Mount Pleasant together last summer, and the track went off dry slick, no doubt about it. But those Lightning Sprints were just about a half a second slower than the full-size sprints.
Now, are those winged? Are those winged or non-winged?
Yes, they're winged.
Okay.
They're winged. They're basically, I mean, there's different styles, but ours are basically built on a midget frame.
Right.
And the wing is about a 4x4, 4 foot by 4 foot, versus a full-size Sprint has a 5x5 wing.
Mm-hmm.
So, roughly speaking, about 3/4 the size of a full-size Sprint. Instead of the right rear is an 84-inch tire or 82 or 84-inch tire instead of 105. So you don't have the stagger. You aren't putting, 10 to 13 inches of stagger in the back like a full-size Sprint. But everything else is proportionate. They have a very comparable power-to-weight ratio. So you're going to get the same sensation, going out and driving a Lightning Sprint, taking laps under that. If you can handle that car, it's going to be the same feeling as jumping into that full-size, except for the power.
And
you're going to have a lot more power.
The engines are based off of motorcycle engines?
Yes, 1,000cc motorcycle engine.
Nice.
And so they sound different. You don't get that nice throaty, firing up when you put the heat in the motors. But on the flip side, they're nice for somebody wanting to try out the sprint car sport because they do have a starter and they do have gears. So, the guy can come home, have his car loaded up in the trailer and go to the track without having a full crew too. So, I mean, it's a nice way to go into the sprint car world.
Yeah. Do they do the Lightning Series? Do they run with or in support of the Super Series or even the traditional sprints? Do they run the same tracks the same nights, or is the schedules totally different for all three series?
Well, I'm just wrapping up the schedules. I started out and filled out the GLSS schedule because that's what we've been doing, and then I layered in the non-wing schedule, and the last one to do was the Lightning Sprints because that's the newest. MTS had been going around the last 12 years, so there was no new introduction on that. But the Lightning Sprints have really only been running up at Merritt the last few years, and so bringing it out to these other tracks took a little different selling technique. But yeah, as it turns out, I mean, we got a great schedule. I mean, we've got about 58 races total.
For all three series?
For all three groups.
Okay.
And we have 4 nights. We have one night at Butler, we have 2 at I-96, and 1 at Merritt, where all 3 classes will be running together.
Oh, that'll be fun.
It'll be real fun. So it'll be an all sprint car night. So we have 4 of those nights this summer. And then we have 8 nights that 2 of the groups will be running together. And it's kind of evenly split. We have, I think, 4 that are going to be the full-size wings and the non-wings running together, and I think most of those are at Hartford. Those will all be double nights. And the other nights, the other 4 nights will be non-wing and Lightning Sprints.
Now, since you're at Merritt, I would assume that you'll be at Tri-City since Common Promotions there?
Well, yeah, and you kind of went backwards, though. Because I've been at Tri-City, I'm now at Merritt.
Okay, yeah. Same promoter, though, now.
Yeah, Mike Blackmere
right.
stepped up, and he's got some plans, and I think he's going to pull that off. He's got 2 great tracks, and they're convenient for each other to do some of the things he's going to do.
And speaking of that, I got a little teaser for after we're done talking to you. We have some news, a little late model series kind of deal.
Really?
We'll be talking about a little bit later between those 2 tracks.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you there.
That's all right. That's what I was going to say. Mike Blackmere and I have gone around about that the last few years. That Merritt's a late model track, and I said, well, they might be a late model track, but there's also some people up there that probably like sprints, and we joke back and forth about it. But now, he's got a real nice mix. I think we have 12 or 13 shows with all 3 groups. I mean, different dates, but between the 2 tracks. So there's going to be a nice mix of Lightning Sprints and non-wing sprints and the wing sprints. So pretty excited about that.
So I was looking at the schedule, at least as you have it posted now. Is that a final schedule, or is that still subject to change?
Yeah, if they're on the website, those are final.
Okay.
The only thing really subject to change is it's not change; it's more
Additions.
subject to addition.
Gotcha.
The things that are posted, other than August 8th, I think I got that deleted though. we had two lightning sprint races on the same night, which that was my bad. I gave Ron Flynn at Crystal the wrong date, and I put both lightning sprints at Merritt and Crystal on August 8th. But I think I have that corrected on the website.
And what's the website so our listeners can go there and check that out?
Well, it's really simple if you want to go directly to the websites, and that's just the name of the series. So GreatLakesSuperSprints.com or GreatLakesTraditivalSprints.com or GreatLakesLightningsprints.com. Real original, isn't it?
Well, if you've got something that works, you don't want to mess with
it. It's the KISS
well,
method.
That's right.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it simple. Yeah, okay, you beat me to it. Yes. But those will take you directly to the tracks. And then we also have GreatLakesSprintFamily.com. That will take you to a landing page, which will have all three logos and a picture of each type of car. And then once you're at that landing page, then you can go wherever you want.
And that was Great Lakes Sprint Family.
Yes.
All right.
Now, I noticed all the tracks on your schedule so far are all Michigan tracks. Are there any plans to expand into maybe Ohio, Indiana, or even Canada?
Yeah. I mean, we always go over to Oswego for the Canadian Nationals. The 360 group does. I'd like to take the traditional sprints. They used to go over to South Buxton and some tracks over there in Ontario. And, you know, I'd like to start doing that again. I kind of pulled my horns in a little bit because I don't know all the drivers. I know the lion's share of them, but I also don't know their tendencies and what they want to do. So I kind of pulled my horns in a little bit, taking on all three groups, and basically made it close to home. So that's why you're seeing the Michigan. And plus there's some other things going on with a couple other competing series that I guess, for lack of better words, I'm just going to say I've muddied the water in Northwest Ohio and Northern Indiana. So I just thought it was better I have enough going on, and we've got 58 great races. The Michigan tracks have stepped up, and I figure we'll race up here in Michigan this year. But we have raced at Fremont. We've raced at Attica, Waynesfield, Lima, Eldora, Atomic. I guess those are all the tracks we've been at in Ohio. And we've been at, I've been at Gas City the last 2 years, but to Jerry Gappin's credit, that's bordering on non-wing territory there. I mean, he has a weekly non-wing show there.
Sure.
And he really likes our show, and we've had good car counts down there, and the guys like going to Gas City, but it just really didn't work, whether it's the time of the year or the crowd-wise, just didn't do good for Jerry. So, he called me early in the season and told me that he probably wasn't going to take a race. In fact, he's not going to take a winged race unless somebody rented the track, and which is what happened for the All-Stars coming in there. But that's the only winged show he has. But we have a good relationship with him. In fact, ironically, Jerry called me tonight. I thought he called to pick up 3 races, but he didn't. And Montpelier, that's still a possibility. I gave some dates to Harold over at Montpelier, and I have some room in the schedule for Montpelier. And Plymouth, we've raced at Plymouth the last 2 years, but right now they're doing some things with NRA and SOD, I guess. So I just stayed out of that mix.
Okay.
But I sure have the desire, and we will be down there. I could see the non-wings coming down a little further, and I'd like to bring the lightning sprints. There's a lot of lightning sprints in Northwest Ohio. In fact, we've got 2 members that have already got their memberships live right in Findlay, Ohio. So that are going to be running with us this year.
But
so
how many regulars travel or have on the average, I guess, over the past few years have been traveling with the GLSS?
Well, the last 2 years, 2 years ago, I had 15 that ran 100% of the races. And last year we ended up with 14, but we started out with 19 that were trying to do it. And then we just had some gremlins in the motors early on.
Sure.
And, we lost 2 guys in May that never made it back all season. So, which was probably the difference in our average. 2 years ago in 18, we averaged 27 cars a race, and we only averaged 25 last year, but I lost 4 cars for a month and a half, and then, like I said, 2 of them never came back. So I think our numbers are still holding well. It's just, sometimes that happens.
So, final question here before we let you go. What big events are you most looking forward to this upcoming season?
Well, let's see. Since I love sprint cars and all my races are sprints, first of all of them.
All of them.
What are the biggies?
And if you have to pick something out, we start out with a bang. The first weekend, the 8th and 9th of, I think it's the 8th and 9th or 7th and 8th of May at I-96 is going to be the trifecta. All 3 groups will be together, as well as the national ASCS Lucas Oil Tour, and they'll all be running together. We did that last year, and they got a little bloody lip, and I'm going to say that proudly because I think they expected to take the top 10 spots with their 10 cars, and we took first and second, or we took first or third and fourth, or second and fourth the first night, and second and third the next night, and we had 5 or 6 cars in the top 10. So I don't think they were used to doing that. So I think they got paybacks coming this year. But that's going to be a great weekend. To have the ASCS National Tour in racing with us, along with the non-wing and the lightning sprints.
No, and that'll be a Friday, Saturday at I-96?
Yeah, and they're full shows.
Both
These aren't
nights?
any of those games where you come Friday night and we do the heat races and you have to come back Saturday. These will be full shows. So that's going to be 6 sprint car shows in those 2 nights.
All right.
That's going to be a good one. Butler, August 22nd. That's going to be a good one.
That's with all 3 series too, right?
Yep.
That's
And then the big weekend, July 10th and 11th is going to be a big weekend. We'll be at Hartford on Friday night with the wings and non-wings. And then we go up to Merritt, and we run all 3 classes up at Merritt on Saturday night. So July 10th and 11th is going to be a big weekend.
Sounds like you're a busy man.
Well, hey, you know what? If I got to go out on the weekend, I may as well make it worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't get enough of sprint cars. And my favorite spot is to stand inside turn 4 in the infield. And I get yelled at all the time. That's why I don't wear a headset, because I kind of tend to get a little close. But I know what my driver's going to do.
So you don't
Fortunately, momentum.
You're not part of the officiating crew or anything? You don't make any calls during the racing action?
No, I'm a PR guy.
You're a smart guy then. You are a very smart guy.
I only make all the rules and chew everybody out later if I don't like what they did.
And somebody else enforces them.
That's right. Ultimately, yes, I'm the final, but that's, fortunately, we just don't have a big problem with that. We try to make it fun for everybody, and I'd like to think that's what keeps everybody coming back. And, we're very competitive, and we try to run a clean show. And at the end of the day, we all have to have fun so we can come back next week.
Well, it sounds like what you're doing is working, and we wish you the best.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be on here with you guys.
Barry, we very much appreciate you being on.
See, it's nice to be wanted, isn't it?
Yeah.
or it's nice to be had. I don't know how that goes.
Either way.
Something like that.
Well, it's cool because we can sit around for a little over an hour and talk about racing. What could be better?
And
Watching
it's cool
racing?
for me, because I get to dabble my feet back, and I feel like I'm back home again because you guys are right in my stomping grounds. So that's it's always nice to talk to people from back home.
Where are you at? What do you call home now?
Marlow, Michigan, which is right next to Saginaw.
Okay.
You're not that far.
Pretty much. No, it's 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you're really close to Tri-City then.
Oh yeah, Tri-City and Mount Pleasant are my two closest tracks.
Yeah.
To my house. I mean, that's why I do a lot of things over at Mount Pleasant, and I like having a steady diet over at Tri-City because those are home games for me.
All right. Well, GreatLakesSuperSprints.com, Great Lakes LightningSprints.com, and GreatLakesTraditionnalSprints.com. Get information on all three of those series.
Or Great Lakes Sprint Family, and
Then it's one shot. Yeah.
that's it.
And then you just look at a picture on which one you want.
Yeah. It's easier that way. All right, man. Well, wish you luck and everything in 2020, and we'll talk to you again.
Well, thank you very much. You guys have a great evening.
All right,
Thanks.
you too.
Thanks, Barry.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. Bye-bye.
Barry Marlow, not Barry Manilow,
Good try.
owner of Great Lakes Super Series as well as Lightning Series and Traditional Sprints as well. So sounds like he's got his stuff together there.
I'm thinking he's a busy man.
You think? Coming up a little bit later, we're going to play How Many. You missed last week's How Many.
Oh, well, I
So
didn't
you
lose.
didn't get to play. You didn't win either.
No.
We'll tell you who the winner was from last week and what this week's How Many is going to be. But before we get to that, just a couple other news stories to cover here. NASCAR revealed rule changes.
Oh, surprise.
Right after that, any other word I say after that, all of a sudden just becomes. Yeah. They're making changes on the Cup Series short track and road course tracks. The spoiler is going to be cut down,
Making them much less aero-dependent.
8 inches to 2 3/4 inches. The overhang on the splitter will be cut down to 1/4 of an inch from 2 inches to try and improve the racing action on those shorter tracks and the road courses. So they're always making rule changes. I don't know, maybe if it works, great. More power to them. Front Row Motorsports announced on Monday that the team would expand operations to the NASCAR Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series in alliance with GGR Crosley. 19-year-old Todd Gilliland will drive the number 38 Ford F-150 in a full-time effort in the Truck Series.
Well, good for them.
JR Motorsports confirmed that Dale Earnhardt Jr. will compete in the NASCAR Xfinity Series at Homestead Miami Speedway on May 21st. That's weird that they're going to be racing there in May. That's always the last race of the year. He will drive the number 8 Chevrolet, sponsored by Hellman's. Isn't that mayonnaise?
Yeah.
Okay. Scott Bloomquist underwent hip surgery today. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know that. Like I said, I've been out of the loop for the past week. I got a message from Matt. He's like, "Oh yeah, he's okay out of his surgery." I'm like, "He had surgery? What? What's going on?"
Well,
So,
he's had
apparently
had some real issues getting in and out of the car. He's had to have help getting in and help getting up into the hauler. So this will be a good move for him.
So everything went well. He's going to be heading home out of the hospital tomorrow.
And he'll be in Florida in February.
You think so? That's only a couple weeks.
That's his plan.
Yeah. And I won't be surprised if he's there. We mentioned this while we were talking to Barry, the new late model series between Merritt and Tri-City Speedways up there in Michigan.
Same promoter now.
Same promoter for both tracks.
Yes.
The new series, new late model series, is going to be a 10-race series ranging in pay from $2,500 to $10,000 to win. I think there's at least two 10,000 to win races. The series will be known as the Tri-City Merritt Speedway Lane Automotive All-Star Performance Challenge Series, supported by American Ethanol.
Yeah. I'm sure you discussed that last week.
That the ethanol series disbanded. Yeah, that was breaking news last
week.
Didn't they announce that Thursday? Yeah, right before we came on. It was like, what? Whoa, they came out of nowhere. So I guess American Ethanol still.
Did you read the full press release on that, Scott?
I read what they had posted on their site, that they had a 5-year plan.
And
this was the end of the 5 years, and they decided not to continue. But also Scott Menlin, I think, that's his name. Also the Sunday before that, not this past Sunday, was announced that he was going to be the GM promoter. I don't remember what it was down at Nashville Fairgrounds
Right.
Speedway. So I mean, like, do those correspond, or did he already know they were going to cease operation? Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right. Yeah.
Did he know they were going to cease, so that's why he took that job, or did they cease because
Scott?
he took
It
that
had
job?
to come out of nowhere.
Either way, it's good for.
There were teams that had definitely planned on running the full American Ethanol Series this year.
Well, now they can run the Tri-City Merit Speedway Lane Automotive All-Star Performance Challenge Series.
Right, but we know that
American
won't
Ethanol.
be every single week because
No,
we
it's
just
not.
discussed
10 races.
that the Michigan Traditional Sprints will be at both of those tracks, and they won't have the late models there.
Correct.
So, yeah.
But interesting news there. I mean, it's not bad news at all.
No, not at all.
That's good. I mean, that's some
And-
good
and
payment.
bo-
That's
and-
going to be
and-
interesting to see who shows up for those.
And interestingly, both of those tracks have switched to UMP dirt car rules, and I-96, which was UMP dirt car, is now Michigan MSPA. Yeah.
So do you think a lot of the drivers from around here, the Ohio area, is going to be traveling up?
I'm sure you'll see a lot of our guys up that way.
What about Ron Miller?
You know, I like Tri-City. I've been to a lot of tracks in Michigan, and I've never run Merit, so that could happen.
Well, you made that major announcement at the Oakshade banquet that you will most likely not be running for perfect attendance for the first time in.
I would almost like to see the 35 car there every week, but certainly I won't be in it.
I see what you're saying.
But you know, obviously, anytime there's a Run What You Brung, an outlaw show,
you'll be looking.
We're going to be heading there.
Attica Raceway is putting down 125 loads of new dirt.
I guess it's already down and is
all ready to go. Well, they got their first race coming up a little over 2 months.
Yeah.
So hopefully it has time to settle down in there.
Well, I believe that the dirt kind of knits together over the winter, and
it knits together.
You know, you turn it in, plow it in, and hope for the best.
What is the? I don't know how much you know about track prep, but I'm curious. What do promoters or racetrack owners, do they do anything to the dirt track surfaces during the winter, or they just let it sit?
Scott, there's different theories. There's track promoters that actually put manure into the track in the winter. They claim that in the spring it helps it hold moisture better.
That sounds pretty.
Yeah, buddy.
Wow.
I thought you were going to say shitty.
Yeah, I was. Thank you for doing that for me. Good thing I mark on YouTube that this is not for children.
That's right.
Wait, which track does that? Just out of curiosity. Is it one I've raced at?
I don't think so.
Okay, then I'm okay then.
Yeah, you're good.
No, I was just curious.
There's tracks that put wood chips in and let them work over the winter. It's just everybody's got their own secrets.
We'll have to talk to Terry or somebody, see what their secrets are.
Maybe we don't want to know.
Yeah. Lima Land has released their 2020 race schedule. Their first race is coming up May 1st with the NRA Sprints, Modifieds, and Stocks in action. And you remember last year we just talked to Jerry Keyser.
Sure.
2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
He seemed pretty excited about their season, but last year, the whole month of May entirely rained out.
So if they're opening May 1st, I would imagine that our local track, Oakshade, opens May 2nd then.
Probably, or the week before that is usually the Bill Reckner Memorial.
with
that usually
models,
gets rained out. Oh, with late model. I see what you're saying. I gotcha. So if you want to check out the entire Lima Land, I was in a hurry. I didn't check that. There's a lot of big events. They have Ohio Sprint Speed Week Day to the Jerry Keyser Memorial and all the regular deals. You can check out the entire schedule at limaland.com. It's on their website. There was something I was going to ask you.
What
I
else?
forgot what it was. I don't know. I was like right there, and then I started talking, and it just went away. That's what happens. How about we do, how many? Oh, no, that's what I was going to do.
Now you remember?
Now I remembered.
Okay.
Was it Christopher Bell, I guess, won his heat race? I got some updates from the Chili Bowl Nationals, which if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or
the news is a little
somewhere
dated.
else, it may be a little dated, but if you're watching us live right now, it means something. Logan Seavey looks like a winner. Oh, I thought there was another one. He probably sent me another, but all right, that's it. Also, breaking news from Dean Henry. Big D's Pizza is on board for 2020. Whitey Racing Cody White driver. You need to have him on one of the nights. I suppose I should have actually read that before I just started.
Okay.
I got excited because I saw the breaking news, and I wanted to say the breaking news. Okay.
Cody White
We're done.
teams up with Dean Henry for the 2020 season.
And Big D's Pizza. Speaking of Big D's Pizza, you could win one, I believe, through Dean, if you can be this week's winner.
It's nice to know
for
people, Scott.
And I still haven't had it, but I haven't had a pizza that I don't like either. Last week's How Many was how many races will be run Monday evening at the Chili Bowl Nationals.
Last Monday?
This past Monday, yes.
Ooh, wow.
Take a guess. Do you know how many races were run?
Heat races and
Heat
features?
races, B-mains, features, everything.
32.
You are off by 100%.
Really?
16.
Oh, wow.
16 was the number, at least on
Okay.
reported on their website. There may have been other races that weren't reported, but I'm going with 16 because that was the number that was on there. And that would make me the winner for the in-studio. Charlie picked 13. I picked 14.
Oh, well, you win,
So
Scott.
I do. Woo, yay me.
And?
Pat on my back. Our online winner, and not many people were playing online.
Really?
So it was pretty easy to pick the winner. That would be John Young. He picked 17. He was close anyways.
Well, that's not the first time John Young has
I
won.
don't think so. He's going to
our...
have to get that pizza and bring it in here.
Yeah.
That's it. How about this, Dean? If you want to have Cody White on the show,
he's got to bring pizza.
If he brings a pizza, I'll have him on next week for hell. Whenever he brings a pizza, I'll have him on.
Yeah, just let us know.
We can be bought with pizza.
We are cheap and easy.
We are. So if you want to play along with this week's How Many, you can leave your comment. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter, you can, after we're done, you can switch over and leave your guess in the comments of our Facebook Live. The rules is whoever guesses the number closest or right on first is going to get that Big D's Pizza. Without further ado, this is this week's How Many, which I'm thinking it's not going to be a huge number. How many NASCAR drivers will make the Chili Bowl main event on Saturday?
Ooh. Well, even if they all made it, there's...
Dean says deal on the pizza thing. So
all right. 2.
Because there's not that many in there, is there? How many were there?
Well, I mean,
You talking past, present?
If they've raced in NASCAR. So even if they raced like in the truck race. Didn't Rico Abreu run the truck race?
oh yeah,
at Eldora?
absolutely.
So he would count as a NASCAR.
No, Rico has run
I thought he did
quite a
too.
few truck races.
Okay.
But,
That's right, he did.
Yeah, but I mean, they're starting 20 cars, and that place is the best of the best. So I'm saying 2, Scott.
All right.
And it could well be more than that. But I'm just saying that the competition is going to be so tough that the NASCAR guys are going to be hard-pressed to make it.
I might have to come over to your house and watch this.
There you go.
What?
5?
Bring pizza, Scott.
I'll swing over to Big D's. It's right on the way. Over there in Clyde.
Yeah, we're just on the way.
Wait, Dean has like all kinds of guesses. He guessed 2, then he guessed 5. Mark Burns says 3. Before I make my guess, I'm going by committee here. So far, that's all that Matt says 3. Yeah, I'm going to go with 3 since you said 2. I want to say 2, but you already picked 2, so I'm going to win with 3.
What did Mrs. Miller say?
She said 5.
5, okay.
So we'll find out after Saturday, and whoever's closest online in the Facebook comments, again, put your number there, and you could win a Big D's Pizza.
We know that it's less than 20.
If you guess more than 20, you failed already, and you probably shouldn't be playing. Attica Raceway Park has their season opener. We talked about this a little bit ago, coming up. I there it is. Friday, March 20th. I thought I put it down here without the date.
March 20th.
Friday, March 20th. 410 Sprints, late models, and 305s. So that's coming up. What is today? 16th. So it's like 2 months and 4 days. It's coming up. It's almost race season again.
Well, this is Thursday. It'll be a Friday, so.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Well, that's, I think, going to do it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Well, fine.
Thanks to associate producer Dave Kemmer. Really relied on him this week for helping gather some news and putting together our guest there, Barry Marlow. Thanks to him from Great Lakes Super Sprints. Good talking to him.
It was.
Yeah. Next week on the show, it's going to be a surprise to everybody because I don't know what it's going to be yet.
Well, we'll let you know.
Okay. We'll figure it out.
Keep checking with us on Facebook.
I apologize. Yeah, I was a little lax on Facebook posts this week. And I don't even think I posted on Twitter. It's because I've been so busy. So hopefully I'll have a little bit more time next week. And make sure to tune in to us on iHeartRadio, Google, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. You can catch us live every Thursday night, 7 o'clock on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Twitter, Periscope.
We'll see you next week at 7 o'clock.
We will do that.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
It's amazing the way that worked.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.